So I tell you what, I had great confidence going into this hunt after all the action I'd seen at the same part of the year last season. We were loaded up with velvet bucks then, we had great weather, and again this year the temperatures are really good and the action is phenomenal.
So I'm here with Haynes, and undoubtedly a competitive person, but in this scenario, it's our first camp of the year. Rarely do we get the opportunity to come in and hunt together. And I can tell you right now, you know, as his teammate at North American Whitetail TV, I'm just excited for whoever gets the first deer. If it's him, awesome. But I've already heard that we're gonna be hunting the same field on the same ranch, same food source. So the encounter is gonna be very personal anyway. If he strikes, great. If I strike first, great. I know we're both gonna be just as happy about the opportunity, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it.
Our first afternoon in the blind, we are covered up in not only a bunch of deer, but plenty of good bucks. Deer are rolling into these food sources, I mean, in hordes. This part of the country has got so many deer, the numbers are extremely healthy, and it's so much fun to be able to sit in an afternoon and see, I'm not talking dozens, I'm talking 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes 100 or more deer out in one open area. And that's exactly what's happening. And feeding right towards our redneck blind the first afternoon, we've got two big shooters.
All right, they're 306 yards. I tell you what, we've got two really nice velvet bucks that are feeding in towards us. One looks like a hammer 8-pointer, great big wide buck. I tell you what, he is a nice deer. They're coming our direction. Our wind is marginal, but we got the ozonics going. Wind's starting to really lay down, getting on into the afternoon. Look, I think we're gonna have enough daylight. If these bucks continue to feed into bow range, we might get a shot on opening day. They're right in this tall sorghum grass, and they're on the edge of that in an oat field. They're feeding hard, but they're coming our way. All right, they're 306 yards. I tell you what, we've got two really nice velvet bucks that are feeding in towards us. Wind's starting to really lay down, getting on into the afternoon. Look, I think we're gonna have enough daylight. If these bucks continue to feed into bow range, we might get a shot on opening day. They're right in this tall sorghum grass, and they're on the edge of that in an oat field. They're feeding hard, but they're coming our way. It's gonna be an awesome afternoon. I'll tell you right now, that other deer was a lot bigger than him.
So as the afternoon wrapped up of our first sit of the year, we were feeling really great. We had seen multiple shooter bucks. Not only had these two big deer fed within 108 yards of the kind of the front side of our hay bale blind in that sorghum and oat patch, but we also had another group of deer that had come from behind the blind. And I tell you, they really acted like they wanted to come into this food source, but we had a marginal wind, and the wind really was kind of swirling in the direction that the deer were trying to enter the plot. We had the ozonics on boost mode. We're cranking out as much ozone as we could. We had used our Conquest scent really as a cover scent. And I tell you, the deer, in any situation, if you had not used those products, those deer would have blown, they would have ran away. They did not do that. They never fed into the plot. As so often happens, they kind of remained calm, but never did really commit. But we knew going into day two, they weren't spooked, and any one of those big shooter bucks could reappear, so we're going back to the same spot. So midday on the second day of our hunt, we knew that since we had the exact same wind direction, we really needed to take this redneck bale blind and slightly shift it in this sorghum and oats plot down to the end of the plot, so hopefully we would be in a better location to hunt the same wind direction. We knew if all those bucks that we had seen, if they did what they did the day before, with our new location, they really would be feeding straight up wind, and we would be right in the place we needed to be to get a shot and not have to worry about our scent at all. They just needed to do again what they had done on the first day of the hunt.
Deer right there. Adam, we got several deer coming in. One is a good buck. There's a big buck coming in. They're moving pretty quick. We need to start getting position. They're gonna cross in front of this blind. Yep, they're coming. Oh man, the bucks are right behind Haynes. There's a big bachelor group rolling in right now. Deer right there. Adam, we got several deer coming in. One is a good buck. There's a big buck coming in. They're moving pretty quick. We need to start getting position. They're gonna cross in front of this blind. Yep, they're coming. That's a shooter, but he's gonna cross out of range, Adam. He's 60. 64 yards now, he's walking away. That's that big hardhorn buck we saw yesterday afternoon. Big 8-pointer, he shed his velvet. He's completely hardhorn today. Oh, several more deer behind him too. There's a lot of deer coming in.
So as we're watching this big hardhorn 8-pointer, great wide buck, mature buck, he's feeding out at 72, 73 yards, out of bow range, especially in this windstorm. I see behind him, right over the crest of the food plot, here comes a giant, tall-racked velvet 8-pointer, one of the shooters we had seen the previous afternoon, and he looks like there's a chance he might feed closer than the other deer.
Adam, I tell you what, man, I just don't think I can draw back and shoot out of that window, out of this peep window.
It's really touch and go at this point. Both deer, they're past that 70-yard range. Now they're closing in on 60, 65 yards. And I tell you, I'm thinking that there's a chance we might get a crack at either of these two bucks. I feel like I've halfway got my equipment where it needs to be, but we have a little bit of a slip. My cameraman is shooting out of the main window in the side of the redneck blind. It's the taller vertical window. It's where he needs to be, but I've got to draw my bow back and shoot out of another window. I'm left with basically our peep window, which is a smaller window, small flap. You can hold it up and kind of glance out, but it's not necessarily big enough to shoot a vertical bow out. So game time decision, I pull out my box cutter. I have a razor knife in my pocket, thank goodness. I decide I'm gonna make this window a little bit bigger. So right as I decide that it might be getting time to shoot one of these deer, the big, tall, velvet 8-pointer, he closes in within another 10 yards, and I really am starting to feel confident that we're gonna get a shot.
Okay. He's 44 yards, I can give it a shot. He's lean.
So right as I decide that it might be getting time to shoot one of these deer, the big, tall, velvet 8-pointer, he closes in within another 10 yards, and I really am starting to feel confident that we're gonna get a shot.
Okay. He's 44 yards. I'm gonna draw back and give it a shot. You ready? Here we go. You got him. Go for it. All right, we hit him. That's a hit. There he goes. Stay on him. Stay on him. You got him. That's a hit, man. It's back. It looks like it's just a touch back. I can see the hit. It looks like it's a little bit back, maybe lung liver. Stay on him. He's going down right there, man. We got him, dude. Good job, man. How about that, man? Big velvet buck. Golly, that is a giant. He's down. Great deer.
It was so great to walk up and have that experience, to have killed 2 really nice, mature velvet deer, back-to-back years, big 8-pointers with a bow and arrow. It's a hard thing to do, so we so enjoyed the opportunity to celebrate the harvest of a great deer, and we were all together fighting the winds, these brutal 40-mile-an-hour gusts, but we were having a great time. It was an awesome end to the start of my hunt.